Welcome back, everyone, to an incredible Day 3 of the North American Spring Playoffs. And we couldn't have asked for a better battle for third place. It's down to the final game between Curse and Vulcan for the bronze medal and $15,000. But before we get into the match, I'd like to welcome back Martin's Mega Zero to help us break down the action. So you called that if they brought it to late game, Vulcan would have a better shot. Did you expect a game like that?
I mean, I didn't really know if they could really come back from such a big gap. Like, Curse even got Baron, and like they were up like 10k and like taking an inhibitor. But Vulcan just played the late game really well. It really started changing that top lane fight after the Baron had fell. They forced the engage, and they actually won that first team fight, and it really set the flow of things. So how do you win a team fight like that to turn it around from such a big deficit? So it comes down to team comp a lot the later the game goes. For example, that game they had Cog and Ryze, and they didn't really have anything to deal with it. Like, they had Renekton and Jarvan to dive, but Cog was just too much, and Ryze was peeling for him, and Ryze just does a lot of damage. He has a frozen heart, too. They really couldn't just, like, kill Cog. So on Curse's side, then, how do they force that over, then? Are they just screwed? Like, oh, well, it's past 45 minutes, game over? So, I mean, it's not just game over at that point, of course, but it's really Vulcan's game to lose, I suppose, because you really need to catch Vulcan off guard. You need a good engage. You need to maybe pick someone off even. It's just really hard when Ryze even has teleport and he can split and cause so much pressure amongst the entire game.
All right. So we saw a really big difference in the top laners this game. St. Vicious made repeat returns up to Voyboy's lane, got him ahead, repeat gank after repeat gank. If you are Psycho Sid, what do you do besides yell at your jungler for not giving you any help? How do you come back from something like that, or what do you really do to deal with it? So that lane's a pretty hard matchup. Aurelia, if you do get tanky and like you end up getting your Blade of the Ruin King before like Renekton's too strong, you do win the matchup. The thing is, Curse played it very well. They knew that if we gank this Aurelia, Renekton has really high pressure on Aurelia early game, and we even have like this Jarvan coming in. Jarvan's a really strong ganker. You really just need your jungler to babysit that lane if they're going to do something like that. Otherwise, the top lane's kind of like you can't do anything. So watching Sid in those fights, he managed to actually have some kind of impact in the battle. You're an Aurelia player yourself and a top laner yourself. How do you even team fight when you're melee and behind? So it's very much like the CLG game we had, where I was actually really far behind and we just had Neon kind of carry us. Your job at that point is if you're behind and you're a melee, you just peel for your AD and you make sure he can do what he needs to do. And that's exactly what Psycho Sid did. He was making sure to stun the right targets. He was making sure that he was blocking the way for anything to get to him, and he just played it really well. Oh, nice. So what if you're on Curse and you're trying to protect your Tristana? The other team has a Nasus who's trying to constantly apply Wither to your hyper carry. What is the game plan there? Do you continue to dive the other team, or is there some other strategy you're looking for?
So it can change from teamfight to teamfight depending on like your team comp and stuff. That game specifically, I believe Jarvan should have just been like ulting the Nasus and making sure no one could get to that Trist. Because Wither's like such a huge deal at that point, because late game Wither, it's like you can't even attack.
Okay, so moving into this game, we're going to game 3. Curse is back on Blue's side. They're going to have to kind of readapt to this match. What do you do if you're Curse? What do you change in your lineup? What do you ban something different? How do you play this game differently?
So, Curse going into this match, like, of course they've lost the flow because Vulcan's now, like, riding that momentum. But I still believe Curse still has a chance. They had a really strong game. They played it really well early game. They just need to, like, kind of close the game off. If they want, they can change their bans, maybe be more scared of that late game comp. Ban maybe a Ryze or a Cog, be kind of scared of that. But I really do believe that Curse, if they just play their early game right and then follow that momentum, they'll do just fine.
What about on Vulcan's side? What can they do to carry this momentum forward?
So Vulcan, to carry this momentum, really just like ride that. They're pretty set right now. They're like, oh, we just outplayed them in team fight after team fight. We came back from such a huge loss. Come on, guys, we got this, and they just want to ride that momentum.
All right, well, thank you very much, Mega Zero, and of course, we'll see you guys in the promotion tournament in 2 weeks, and of course, we've got a Game 3 coming up as well. Curse and Vulcan. It's been awesome so far. I'm hoping Game 3 is just as good as well because my voice can take it. I'll yell for a couple more fights. Kobe, what do you think going into this one? What's it going to be like?
We'll probably have Vulcan doing their signature endgame team once again. They're fine. If you take Tristana, I don't care. I'm just going to use Kog'Maw. We're going to outscale you late game as long as we have Nasus to counter that one. So it's going to be in for a long haul once more. I don't think they're going to do the lane swaps once again because they haven't quite worked out today.
It seemed a lot better when they played more of a standard setup indeed. So we do have the players more or less into the game. I believe we did see one of them on a bathroom break real quick. I know when we get to a game 3, we give a little bit of a longer break for the teams because sitting there for 3 hours can be a little harrowing. So it looks like it's Cop taking a quick break there.
Rux looking very introspective right now, just questioning what's happening with his life. What's the meaning of the universe right now? I kind of want to tap in and ask him a couple questions, but he's got other things to focus on right now. The Game 3 strategies. How will they defeat a late-game focused Vulcan?
Well, I mean, you heard it from Mega Zero. He said that their early game is very, very good. They have put a lot of pressure down. You saw them camp Sid, and I mean, he got really, really destroyed. They had a great early kill lead. They had a 10,000 gold lead with a Baron buff. That all went according to plan. That was trademark textbook Curse, right? I was like, man, this could be our first 2-0. They were really, really winning that. And as Mega said, they just have to follow it up and close it out. Right? Maybe it was like one misplay, maybe a misspell or something, but they pretty much were playing it right.
I think that the one thing that really snuck through the cracks here for Curse in their planning was Nasus, how big of an effect he has late game, because everyone's just so used to seeing him now because he's one of the most commonplace junglers. You forget that if you're taking that late game hyper carry, you have to worry about the jungler being Nasus and that wither constantly being applied to him because that can take him out of the game. You could see Cop trying to react with his Quicksilver Sash and Cleanse and even getting Zephyr there, but to no avail.
Well, Curse, right now, you're looking at the picks and bans coming through. They did actually decide to ban Tristana this time around instead of taking it up on Cop, but again, all the supports are still available. The Diana and Jace bans renewed as well, so Curse not changing much here.
Yeah, and then Vulcan, they banned out 2 of the globals there on top of Cop's Misfortune. Meanwhile, Curse pick up the one that's left for them, going with the Nocturne. Shen, it's worth mentioning, was a big part in the first game, and he's still available as well.
So you gotta wonder, do they prioritize the Sona they've been picking all the time? Do they prioritize the Nasus that meant so much in the late game? Or do they take that Shen that had pretty much wrecked Don't Mash Me in that matchup, where that was the game 2 that Curse won against them? He got really, really hurt by that Shen Nocturne combo. Vulcan must have seen that series. They must know this is coming.
Yeah, that's why they're taking their time right now. There's so many points to hit right now. Curse have a lot of directions that they could go with the first pick Nocturne. I really like this one. It leaves them open. They could even steal away the second string, Kog'Maw there, and then what kind of late game carry is Zuna going to go with? Is he going to go down with that Twitch? Because he's actually had an up and down history with that Twitch. He's has a tendency to get caught out.
You're absolutely right. Cop is a great Kog'Maw player. We've seen him on that champion before. He's done very, very well, and it seems that that's the champion that Vulcan are not risking themselves to lose right here. Nasus, Kog'Maw, they're putting their eggs in the late game basket.
So Vulcan definitely have their priorities straight. Yes, we're going to get get Zuna. Zuna Vulcan.
Yeah, I got you.
We'll get him his Kog'Maw so that he can have that late game carry. And we're also going to go with the Nasus to shut down any sort of plans that Curse have for the late game. So now it's going to be up to Curse to say, okay, we see those main 2 points that Vulcan have already started to build with their team comp. What are we going to do to battle that? Will we go with our TSM-esque strategy of adding on another global to this Nocturne Paranoia? Or will we just grab away Bloodwater's Crescendo because that's really fresh in their minds, the last crescendo ending basically the game.
And it really did just explode them out, and we are seeing a couple of changes here. So actually I should say that Cop did run Caitlyn in game 1, but he says, okay, look, we're not taking away the hyper carries, we're going back to what works here, the long range Caitlyn, we're going to run that here, and they did take away the Sona. It's now Vulcan's turn to decide.
So looks like they're going to switch up supports here. Rux more comfortable on the Sona. We said yesterday that was his most comfortable support, and really all the other ones he just kind of defaults to after that. Meanwhile, Bloodwater mulling over the option of a Thresh here. It always gives you the options for hooks, but like we saw in the end game there, a 5-man Crescendo. there's not much you can do to stack up against that one.
And there hasn't seemed to have been much, really, they could have dealt with it. So Zuna says he's going to go put down the box and use that for the defensive tool here. Mandatory Cloud and Psycho Sid still have champions to pick for themselves, though. Mid and top lane, and ooh, another switch up here. This looks like it's going to be Kha'Zix grabbed. Nope, Ahri grabbed for ManCloud.
Sort of similar, those two, even though Kha'Zix is an AD assassin and Ahri is an AP assassin. They both have those sort of hopping moves where Kha'Zix, if he gets a reset, he can continue to jump, where Ahri has always got those 3 charges on her Spirit Rush that she can use to reposition herself and also can use to catch people out with her charm if she does see someone out of position.
Well, meanwhile, he has grabbed that in. Of course, a great champion pick for that lineup. But Curse are saying, okay, we've learned some lessons. They've grabbed the Ryze, and they have grabbed the Shen. So that Shen Nocturne combo is there. And they said, great, Ryze hyper carry, that's on us.
The most interesting thing about the team going up against Shen has been, how do they think they're going to deal with the split push? Do they take a teleport on their top tanky or their mid laner? Who's it going to be going up 1 versus 1 with that Shen if he does get an early lead? Because you have to be able to, at the very least, hold your own in a 1 versus 1.
That is going to be really, really important here for this matchup. The top laner still to go for Vulcan. In my mind right now, I'm just thinking, can Kog'Maw with a Thresh support survive the Shen Nocturne dive, though?
It's going to be difficult, but he actually will have a good chance with Thresh, because we always talk about Thresh being the support that will add another escape for your AD carry. So even though Kog'Maw doesn't have one of his own, he can always just grab onto that lantern, the dark passage, and hopefully ride that one to safety.
Okay. So a different lineup here, though, for Vulcan. They're running a very different sort of setup. We saw from Zion Spartan, and it worked pretty well, but Psycho Sid is going for Vladimir here. Not with a Karthus, not with a heavy burst team, but it's the damage amp of Vladimir coming in to support Ahri, Nasus, and Kog'Maw.
Now, Psycho Sid has had a very tricky Vladimir, so I'm going to take a look at his masteries and runes real quick, because he's been starting utility masteries so that he can get the extra gold to start with a Doran shield and a health potion. He hasn't actually changed his masteries quick enough yet from the last game, though, so sorry, guys. Tough break there. We'll have to wait on that one. But he does love that split push VAD without teleport. So he usually runs his Flash Ghost instead of taking a teleport, and it kind of has gotten Vulcan into some sticky situations in the past where they're just left with a 4-on-5, and it's really been the main thing in the game to decide if the split is successful or not.
Okay, so that's going to be an interesting story to tell. You're looking right now with Curse on your screen. They're ready to go. They've grabbed away the Ryze. They've got that cop back on Caitlyn. And I like that he's done this. He is on Officer Caitlyn. He has chosen the correct skin. There is no other opportunity. There's no other correct choice for Cop as far as skin is concerned. But it's game 3 of the third place match, the $15,000 game, and just one game is left. Curse versus Vulcan. It's all down to this, and here we go.
All right, so since Psycho Sid did not go his utility build, guys, he's gone defense masteries. He's not going to do that Doran shield start with the extra potion. He's going just wards and pots, as we see so common among all the top laners.
Okay, so let's see where they start going. Curse right now starting to split up a little bit. They're sending Saint towards the bottom half. And I'd like to point out, by the way, that Nine Jackie has actually gone deep utility, though. He has the Explorer ward in the biscuit there. So he's going down that tree. Vulcan, though, are grouped up. They're pushing on forward. Curse knows about this. The ward comes down.
Don't quite kill the ward. Get it. That's a misplace on the pink ward there from Bloodwater. The banana bush is a tricky, tricky bush. So hard to get vision throughout the whole thing there. And they are going to miss out on that one.
Okay, so a bit of an unfortunate start for Vulcan. Both sides will be able to see that part of the map. And I think they kind of had relied on something there to do something early against Curse. So now, where will they go? What will happen first? ManCloud had actually already learned Charm at level 1, looking for some kind of early fight. Didn't quite find it here. We'll see where the teams end up going. Right now, they're just kind of splitting apart and making sure nothing too scary happens.
The fact that we've had Sid go defensive masteries this time instead of utility makes me wonder about what they're looking for in the lane matchup with that one. Because if they do have him expecting 2 versus 1 down bottom, then they might be out of sorts here because Rise, never mind, Rise is actually going to head towards that top side. Cop and Rux here taking up the Wolves, going to share some experience as Saint and Voyboy do the race. So Voyboy going to come in with a little bit of extra experience on Psycho Sid in this lane.
Oh, and Vulcan look for a second invade here. Thing is, they didn't know that got rewarded, I don't think, but they're going to run right in for the blue. They expect the blue for Jackie here in the top lane, and all Rux can do is ward it and then back on out. Smithy does have his smite available, so if they fight for this one, he could be able to steal it. Jackie, Cop, and Rux are still kind of waiting around. Looks like they will have to give this one away, though, unless they can get some kind of chance steal. Smite comes out. They get the pull into Jackie, but they don't quite move in any farther. So they've traded just one buff for one buff. Saint already looking towards the bottom lane.
Here's that third game adaptation. They go to steal away the blue buff because Vulcan have fed that, or Curse have fed that over to Jackie every single game. They don't want him to have that same good start. A nice charm onto Rux takes.
Yeah, a lot of damage there, but ManCloud really gets hit back. Now look at the pain from Cop putting him down to 220 health, and Saint ran towards the blue buff, but I think they saw that Nasus from Smithy came by to defend it and said, okay, we can't go for this. Jackie gets pulled in, though. Bloodwater puts the exhaust down, forces the flash from Jackie. Flash hit from Zuna. Will it be first blood? One more hit. First blood goes to Zuna.
First blood, and that's without even red elixirs on this duo lane. We've seen that a lot where Complexity, they land a hook and it ends up in first blood because they have the extra damage there. This Vulcan team didn't even have to spend the extra gold for that, so that's going to be a really good pickup for them. Not only did they deny the blue buff from Jackie, but they've also killed him before he's able to soak up this first huge wave of minions, and he's not even heading back to that lane right now. He's just giving up top.
He's not even using teleport for it, so they will miss out on about a wave and a half of XP. They send their duo lane up there to soak it up, but the faster this cannon minion falls, the worse it is for Curse in this top lane. You look at the turret and it's down to about 2/3 health. Vulcan really off to an early start here, and now the minions are just falling out of experience range. Finally, they start to soak it up.
The early game start for the late game team. This is going to be hard already for Curse on the back foot. They're down in gold, and they're down on turret health.
There we go. So, again, as we mentioned, early start looks good for Vulcan. This is game 3. 500 gold separates these teams, so it seems that margin not too massive just yet. But we have seen that ManCloud has gotten a good start to himself. Blue buff on Ahri. Looks like he did get his own from Xmithy earlier on then. So nice trade-off there. And we look as Xmithy makes a move towards his top lane.
The big thing there in that mid lane isn't just the blue buff, it's the experience. Level 4 Ahri up against Jackie, who has been denied. He's only level 2 right now, so he's going to have a really hard time. Just Dings 3 under the turret. Rise, we always say he has a hard time CSing early and keeping the minions off of his turret, so we'll have to keep an eye on those last hits for Jackie, how well he's able to use his spells to grab them.
So let's take a look at the Psycho Sid versus Voyboy lane. Sid opened up with 3 wards and put a new one down in that Scar of Rush right above him. He's fighting up against Voyboy though, and Voy is winning this matchup 27-21 with a bunch of minions still to pick up here on the wave.
Even though Cop and Rux have had to walk around a lot more, they're still up in the CS here on Zuna. So not too bad here for this Caitlyn. Cop's feeling pretty good. He's got some extra sustain, bringing back an early Vamp Scepter to this lane. So they're looking to take those trades.
That is going to be fun for them overall. You've seen them go back to base. Vamp Scepter picked up for Cop in that one. Just wants to keep the pressure on. Funny thing is, he already had 4% lifesteal from Quint, so he's making sure he does not fall behind in life, even with a Sona support here. Just keeping his health bar all nice and happy. Zuna forced a last hit under a turret. Looks like he'll be successful on this one. And Vulcan, aside from that first blood, have not made any other moves yet.
They haven't made much aggressive invades, and that's because, you know, the jungler Nasus, he doesn't have that high impact jungle early game where he's going to be very threatening from the ganks. He's got his ghost he can use to come get in range for Wither, but it's really just speed differentials. He has no hard CC to pull off one of those ganks. And really the only place he would be focusing would be Jackie, since Jackie's flash has been down, but he's been shoved under his turret the whole time, so there hasn't really been an opening for Smithy.
Okay, but speaking of openings, Voyboy is getting closer to level 6. He will get it off of this minion wave. And as we know, Jackie does have teleport and is an inch from level 5. So the first opening for Curse is here. They've got Saint Vicious. He's not close to his ultimate, but he can always force something with the Shen. Do you think Curse has to make the opening moves here, or is Rise enough for them to sort of wait for the late game and win it there themselves?
Curse are going to have to make a move because they've already lost the first step here to Vulcan. That first blood, unexpected, and it was a really big win here for Vulcan because it went to Zuna, and that's their hyper carry. That's who they're looking to scale later, so he's going to be a huge threat. What they want to do is turn around that top lane with the Shen ultimate. So maybe if Rux ends up getting caught, they can just pop the Stand Unite on him and turn that one around. Looks like Smithy has the same idea, though. He wants to put more pressure up in this top lane.
Okay, so the pressure is where it's going to be. They're just kind of, this is sort of trademark Smithy too, really. He camps for Zuna a heck of a lot. There's the lantern coming across. He's going to look for something here. Can he land a wither or anything? Hook comes across, almost lands onto Rux. Not quite there, Bloodwater, so looks like they'll run right back out of that one.
Yeah, Smithy was standing on a ward in that tri-bush the whole dang time, right on top of it. So Curse did a good job just baiting him, making him waste his time there. They do try and pull off the lantern gank, but just walk out of range of that hook and everybody's all right.
Okay, they are all right, certainly here on the Curse lineup, but Vulcan are starting to pull themselves ahead. The first blood's worth 600 when assisted, but they're up 800 in gold overall based on their matchup, so something is going right for them, and the one that I can see mostly is that mid lane.
Yeah, that plus the jungle. Saint does not waste time sitting around on wards. He is a farm-centric jungler. A lot of this CS lead is actually lane minions because Jackie was forced out. He went to cover that one too, but he got his Madreds really early, and he's been farming up those small camps very effectively. So he's hit level 6 while Smithy just dinged level 5.
Wow, so that is going to be an opening there for Curse. You said they need the early aggression, the early moves. They need something to happen, and they have their 2 globals here. 3 if you count Rise. Which lane does Curse pressure here?
The top lane, like I said, would be huge for them to turn around at this point. If they use Paranoia and Stand United up there, that'll be a 4-on-2, and they can easily clean up a double kill plus a turret, which would give them the map control. Then you always want to swing that into the first dragon, and that really defines this early phase of the game.
So let's see if Curse can make that happen. You've heard it play out. We might see it do the exact same. Vulcan just sitting here, happy to play the laning phase with that Kog'Maw. It worked for him last time. It might just here. Cop just putting pressure on the lane. You're seeing the Piltover Peacemaker come by, deal a bit of punishment. Rux getting close to level 6 as well, to be fair. He is half a level from that one. Bloodwater just dinged it. So levels, sorry, I should say Ultimate's advantage in the top lane actually goes to Vulcan just for the time being.
So right now, Zuna still hasn't gone back to bot, even though he got that first blood. Psycho Sid going to be the target, though.
They're going to put out a lot of pressure. The Ghost Flash comes out, and he actually breaks the Fear Tether, but the punishment, it's not going to be enough. They don't get the kill. A lot of Summoners burn, Ignite from Void, and Flash from Saint.
That was a miss flash from Saint right there, right onto the pool of Vlad, slowing him back down, so there's nothing they can do to follow it up, and that is the Paranoia down. So if the gank does come off, it's only going to be that Stand United from Void Boy. They won't have the overwhelming upper hand with turning it around into a 4 versus 2. Smithy, again, just sniffing around this top lane, really wants to punish this Caitlyn.
We'll see if he can do that. He can lay down the law against Cop right now. They're looking for a hook, comes across, does not land. Bloodwater puts another lantern across. Doesn't even have anyone there. They're just trying to burn flashes.
That was an outstanding bluff, I think. I really like that play, actually, because when you see Thresh throw a lantern backwards, you immediately think there's something coming. But that was just a pure bluff. Doesn't actually get the summoners out of Curse, but nice try there.
Rux was stone cold there. He could have totally crescendo and been like, oh my god, it's a Nasus. And they were like, all right, show it. So I do not want to play poker against Curse. They will call every bluff I try to put out there. Instead, the Man Cloud is just severely wiping down the mid lane of minions. 91 on him, 94 on Zuna. To check back in on that matchup, it's now Zuna winning in minions.
And I would expect actually a pink ward soon down bottom for Vulcan because Nasus has hit that level 6, so he has the potential to solo a dragon. Boom, there's a pink ward, and boom, there's the dragon.
There we go. Smithy's soloing it down. Great call on that one. Down to half health, and no one really even trying to stop it out. Looks like he'll get this one for free. Great pickup for Vulcan.
So he didn't have to have a successful gank to have a bigger impact. He just pulls off that dragon sneak, and they will take the free extra global gold here. St. Vicious is still ahead of him in levels just because he is constantly farming side camps here. Small Golem's going to go down now, and the Paranoia still going to have another 50 seconds on that one, so he'll just continue to collect gold for himself.
Okay, so big long cooldown as they wait for this one. Curse have just not found an advantage here in this matchup. They're now down 1,600 gold, so the lead is stretching here for Vulcan. And we'll see what ends up happening. Mandatory Cloud, by the way, on Ari. Kind of, to me, I consider her a bit of a roamer, but she hasn't made really many moves yet. Why is she just sort of farming against Ryze over and over?
Well, it's really Curse to make the first move because they have that Stand United. If Ari goes and roams up, then they can easily answer it with the Shen shield, and Voyboy will be right there to even out the numbers. So Vulcan are fine with farming like this. They're like, okay, you want to go late game with us? We'll take you late game.
And Voyboy puts the ward down and says, oh, Dragon is gone. Well, crud.
Yes, that's too bad for them. But I really have to say that bottom lane being even in CS is a little bit disturbing because we haven't had... Oh, here goes the Lantern. The action up top. There's the crescendo is missed.
He jukes the crescendo. They're going to go back in on the Rux. The pull comes off, but where's it going to go? He's actually going to have Bloodwater try to fight down, puts the box. But Rux, I don't know, it might just go. Saint Fish gets the kill on Azuna. They trade the kills on supports. That's a 2-for-1 for Curse.
And that's also the teleport and the Stand United being burned. So not only is the bottom lane shoving, but mid lane is shoving too. They take down this turret, even though they lost the lives of 2 of their comrades. They're not going to let it go to waste.
So Vladimir just shoving, making the turret lose health. Smithy and ManCloud making the same thing happen over in the mid lane. There we go. Top turret goes down. They've hit a 1-for-1 on turrets, and now as Vulcan runs out of minions, it's the bottom lane we have to watch for. Voyboy is trying to show up in time. The turret is losing health, but I don't think Sid can quite pick this one up.
They're keeping pressure on both mid and bottom right now. This one's going to get extremely low, but Voyboy has the ability to taunt Sid under the turret here. He pulls that one, and he wants to finish off this turret. 2 more hits is going to do it. Mid also goes down.
Nice job right there. Smithy and ManCloud just wait it out, and of course so does Sid. So there we go, 3-1 out of nowhere for turrets. Vulcan, nice job. It's almost like they wanted to die top lane.
That's why we said there was no moves from Vulcan. They're waiting for Curse to make that first move. Rux there, a little bit of a misstep, even flashed away after the hook was already on him from Bloodwater, so Bloodwater got to fly all the way over there with him. Almost got out with his life, but they did pick up that kill answer, so not very good for Curse right now. The early game already starting to eke away from them, and Vulcan, they love going into the late, so it seems like a repeat of last game already.
So we do see a differentiation, not only in these styles of AD carries, Caitlyn the lane bully, and of course Zuna on COG, the late game behemoth, but also in item builds. You see that a Blade of the Ruin King is coming out versus either an Iedge or a Bloodthirster for COG.
So really he's just thinking Shen always stacks pure health. He's a massive health tank, and he wants to get that Blade of the Ruin King as soon as possible. Plus, as Kog'Maw, since you don't have a built-in escape, extra early lifesteal is really good. The attack speed is actually a good combination with his W, since it does add that percentage and magic damage. And the active is sort of a semi-escape. You get your own slow that you can apply.
Wow, Sid going in for a fight against Jackie, but here comes Saint Vicious off on the side. This is not a good set of numbers here for Sid. He's going to try to run away, and Saint, they're on the other side of the screen from each other, and Sid just says, okay, ghost and peace.
Jackie just not strong enough to deal with this one, even though he had backup from Saint. Pretty big win for Vulcan right there. They just burn that ghost, and they get pressure. Look at this pressure on the middle. They're already up at inhibitor turret. Wow, that is
Pretty brutal right here. Of course, Vulcan still trying to keep their moves going. Look at that, another minion's going to go down, and man, I mean, this is suddenly Vulcan winning an early game match. Mega talked about keeping your heads up and saying, yeah, that was a close game. We could have won player game, but does this look like a shattered Curse, or has Vulcan like really stepped up since last time?
Curse have to make use of their advantage in Voyboy's Stand United. There's no answer from Vulcan for that because nobody took teleport on this Vulcan team. That's really the only upper hand that Curse have still in their pocket. They also have the parent. Oh, Voyboy does get hooked.
They push on in. Actually, the flake comes out from Bloodwater, but he's been taunted underneath the turret. They kill the turret instead of running away. Bloodwater stands and fights and gets it.
They get another objective. That's the last outer turret. Now Curse are going to have to start warding up their own base. You can see already these turrets on their own jungle side worried about the early invades from Vulcan here. Vulcan really just have to continue to pressure the map as they try and continue to shove this along. This has really just been Psycho Sid's deal. Whenever he's on Vladimir, he just keeps on shoving a lane, even though he does not have teleport. he tries to bring the enemy to him and force them to react.
So far, he's done that pretty successfully and gotten away from those situations. So I gotta hand it to his Vlad play. He's done quite well. Let's take a look at the individual gold, though, as we get through this game. You mentioned the globals have gone very, very well for Vulcan, but Curse, they have gotten a couple individual kills. So let's break it down. The top laners, Sid's winning. Jungle, Saint is winning. You mentioned him being a farm jungle and it worked there. In the mid lane, a little bit bad for Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie's had a tough time because of that start. Remember, the first blood. Also, they denied him that blue buff that he has been really counting on. And Rai is not very good at the early CSing, so they've been able to successfully delay that Rod of Ages past 17 minutes even, which is really, really late.
It is not the best for them, but here comes the Paranoia. They're going to look for Zuna right now. 1v1 against Satan. Here comes the Shendel. He's going to cleanse away the fear, but he's going to have a shot on top of him. Voyboy's there. Oh, Zuna jukes it and now trying to survive underneath the turret. Ignite is on, and Voy's not in a happy place. Zuna trying to peel him down. There's a kill picked up, and here's Saint flashing over the wall. Will they chase down? ManCloud pops his ultimate, pops the W. Is looking forward a little bit. Will he look for a kill here? He's got minions. Does not go for cop. A 1 for nothing and a lot of ults burned out from Curse.
Vulcan with that patient play. They finally had Curse make their move, wanting to try and take advantage of staying united, but they dove way too deep. And Zuna, with the sidestep of the Century, gets out of the way of the taunt, able to use that Blade of the Ruined King we were talking about as a successful escape, slowing them down, continuing to attack, gain life back from that lifesteal. And this is completely in Vulcan's hands now. They're taking out the dragon while still having Psycho Sid solo push. He is just becoming a monster over in that lane, and all the chips are really falling for Vulcan here.
This is not looking very good for Curse on the other side. They made those roster changes at the very beginning of the playoffs, said, look, it's better for our team in the long term. Right now, it hasn't been working out. They lost their first series against GGU. They're a little underhanded against Vulcan right now, but this is an experienced team. This is a team who knows about comebacks, and we'll see if Curse can do it. Jackie is on the hyperscaling rise. We saw how powerful it was from Mandatory Cloud just 20 minutes ago. Can Curse bring this in?
It seems like they're just getting manipulated by Vulcan here. There's not a lot that they can call right now because they just made one of those desperate moves. Two people using ultimates onto Zuna were not able to come out with a kill even, and they lost their lives for it. Also, Saint losing his flash getting out of that one. So it's really a dire situation for Curse right now, and Vulcan really have no reason to switch up their strategies. Their late game has been so strong. I mean, it's always good to practice and have another strategy. That's why they started out the series trying to switch it up and going with a late game build and switching up their lanes. But they need to put more practice in that, and they can just rely on their late game for now.
Okay, so that is working for them. That change of plans, that return to form really definitely helping these guys. ManCloud getting another blue buff on his trademark AP mids. Considered Kha'Zix said, no, I do want the Ahri for this game, and he's doing very, very nicely. Highest minion count in the game on him. Psycho Sid trying to take that sort of title away as he continues the split push. Then every time we see Void teleport away, Sid gets pressure on a turret.
Yes, it looks like the tide is coming in here as Sid slowly coming through with the blood waves. He's going to continue just relentlessly pushing that wave, and Zuna trying to match it. He's picked up a static Shiv so that he can also have effective lane clear down in the bottom, and even though they don't have the teleports, they've got the map pressure just because their solo lanes are so strong.
Wow, and there's so much magic damage from that team as well, right? Like, you look at the Vladimir plus Ahri pickup dealing magic damage, the Kog'Maw, the Nasus ultimate, and yet I don't even see a runic bulwark here, but here comes St. Vincent going in on Zuna. A great flash across the wall keeps him safe for now, and there's the rest of the team. Jackie suddenly runs into 4 enemy players. A Crescendo doesn't hit anyone at all, and there's the first kill picked up onto Rux. The battle has begun. Smithy trying to run away low on health. They're going to find that one, but Voyboy is burning down with Ignite. They will find that one back. There's Jackie in the middle of everyone going down to Ahri. ManCloud trying to find stuff. Zuna just barely alive. Now he falls down. It's just St. Vicious alive against 3 members of Vulcan, and this is not looking great for him. He's trying to run back. ManCloud will not quite dive. Finds a triple kill for his troubles and a turret as well.
And that was 4 versus 5. Vulcan are stronger than Curse. Definitive win right there for them. Rux with another whiffed Crescendo. You have to be second guessing that switch right now. That's he hasn't been able to jump right back into that role as they thought he would. It's a really hard break here for Curse. I mean, that might not have turned around the team fight,
Sure.
but it certainly did not help.
It did not indeed. So a 3-kill lead, a 5-turret lead, and an 8,000 gold lead. This could be Vulcan finally taking over Game 3, and they are looking pretty good right here, right? The late game team with the early game results. You mentioned that at the start. How does Vulcan close it out?
They are doing a great job of just the old Dignitas style that we saw in the beginning of LCS, where they get their lanes so strong that they can continue to just shove all the lanes at the same time. Seems to be working for Vulcan. We saw it displayed right there. A 4 versus 5 team fight. Curse initiate. Paranoia goes off. Boy stand united right on top of Saint. But Zuna escapes again, and they turn that one around. It's looking like there aren't too many options for Curse right here. They just have to turtle and hope for an unforced error from Vulcan.
Let's see if there are any mistakes made. Before I'd asked you, is Runic Bulwark in the future for Curse right there in St. Vicious, picking up the pieces of it. Looks like it might be smart for them, but the Ghost comes in for Smithy. They look for Voyboy. His taunt is down. They're going to push on forward. Can they get the pressure they need? Spirit Fire comes across. There's a slow field as well. Void not in a great place. Oh, the hook comes in from Bloodwater. Almost saves him, but he will flay him backwards. And there is Void falling over Zuna, getting the kill credit, 8-4. And look at ManCloud just putting the pressure on the Cop. His authority must be respected in this lane because ManCloud says, no, you get away from me. Puts on the charm, doesn't quite land that, and will stay safe in a 1 versus 4.
Zuna's been making really effective use of that Blade of the Ruined King too. He's been able to kite very effectively with it. And now you can see they are just going with that shove every single lane at the same time. Come at me. None of you can take me, heads up. We're all stronger than each member on Curse.
They do seem very, very strong, and they're still continuing the pressure right here. The wave clear constantly from ManCloud. He's 3-0-1 with a death cap on top of that early Athene's Unholy Grail. He's being pretty happy. Psycho Sid's the one splitting in the bottom, but the top lane is where we're watching right now with Rux, and it was St. Vicious trying to hold on, and this looks so similar to Curse vs. GGU even, where they try to seize the base and never quite make their way in.
Yeah, so this is the point where Curse could actually take advantage of the split Vulcan. If they continue to be on different sides of the map, then Paranoia's back up, Stand United is back up. Okay, it didn't work that one time, but we have to try again. You cannot give up. You have to go and try and catch someone out. Psycho Sid could even be a target for this. He's got so many escapes that'll be very difficult, and you have to plan for the flash. You have to plan for the ghost. You also have to plan for that pool of blood. There's just so many things you have to keep in the back of your mind that Curse are really looking frustrated at this point.
Well, Jackie is heads up against Sid. That Rise continuing to scale throughout the game. We have seen Vlad a little bit in the recent past. We've always talked about Rise being a big late game scale, but Vlad is a late game champion. How's he going to fare when you get to the 50th minute?
Well, he's just been shoving waves over and over again. Like I said, just building up those Tides of Blood stack. He just mows down the lanes. He continues to CS and sustain himself with the blood transfusions from the minions. So he doesn't even take teleport because if you leave my lane, I'm just going to keep doing what I do. Shove this lane over and over again. Curse, finally, they're trying to make some sort of move here. They got their blue buff at least on Cop, and they've got an Oracles. So if they can force something with a vision play here, then maybe they can grab back a gold lead here.
So there's what they're looking at right now. Zuna, of course, trying to keep that gold lead securely on their side, grabbing another dragon. Of course, you thought the last time it didn't work out too well. Bloodwater getting caught out a little bit, puts the box down, and look at the slows, just keeping them from going anywhere. Teleport's going to cancel in. The dragon does get taken down. Sid's still pushing in the bottom. Jackie does actually not want to help that team fight. The escape comes out from Vulcan, but suddenly, here comes Paranoia. They're in on a Bloodwater. Here is Zuna as well. This is a good numbers advantage right now for Curse, and here they go. Boyboy teleports in. Saint gets out of this one, but here comes Mandatory Cloud. They find Rux. Crescendo comes across, and here comes Smithy. And Mandatory Cloud, they dive in. Cop takes damage. Saint, so low on health, puts his shield across, but there's the Wither on the Cop. The Charm lands. He cleanses them both off. Oh, one hit to go. They don't quite get the kill. They've only traded 1-4-0 so far. Ults from Zuna. Can he get the kill? Looks at Voidboy now. Looks for Cop. Doesn't go for the kill. Only a 1-0.
Doesn't know who to shoot after that one. They don't finish him off, but they get free inhibitor turret in the middle, and Psycho Sid was able to shove off Jackie in the bottom lane too. So they'll back off with this pressure, take that global gold back, and it looks like they're actually going to clear out the wards around Baron so that there's no desperate play from Curse even available to them.
Well, every global is now down on the hands of Curse. Void looking to chase onto Sid. Sid had burned his summoners in a prior engage, and there's Jackie. Jackie will have Rune Prison up. Sid's not going to be a good place right now. Look at the damage coming out, and that will be Jackie picking up a kill. 300 gold to him. Assist goes to his teammates, but at the same time, that split push opens up the doors for Vulcan. However, they're low on health, and Baron Nashor scares them away because Curse are showing up, because look at how spooky Nocturne is, and now Curse wants Baron Nashor.
This is the opening for Curse. If they're going to make a play, it's got to be now. Go for the 5 versus 4 fight. Jackie running up to try and join them, but Saint still in the Baron pit.
He's taking so much damage from Wither and from Ari. The shield comes across. Voight in the front. Baron really scaring away Saint. Jackie has joined the fight, though Zuna is caught alone away from the team. Flashing from Voight. Zuna's going to try to cleanse out. Pouse Blade of the Ruin King. Charm does not quite land. There's a slow field. Cop lands a Q. Rux cannot find anything. Zuna with that E saves his life.
Such good kiting from Zuna right there. Saint took way too much damage inside the Baron pit. Their 5 versus 4 turned into a 4 versus 4. Looks like Vulcan back off. 2 of them still here, though, and they will have to look for a steal as Curse are trying to burn it down quickly.
They look for a 5 versus 3 right here. Zuna at half health. Ult comes out from Caitlyn. Smithy blocks it, though. They're burning down that health bar. Saint putting in some good damage. His smite is available. Smithy's is too, and he is on the bottom side of this one. Baron still losing health. This could be Curse taking the comeback. Baron here losing more health. Smithy goes down. Curse finds a kill, and Baron Nashor. This is still a game.
Zuna now trying to chase him down. He has no mana, though, and no escape. They just pop him right now. Boy actually gets hooked, and Bloodwater goes in.
Bloodwater's so low on health, but they go to re-engage. Boy's getting charmed out. They find 1 kill, 2 for 1 so far. Can they keep chasing? Bloodpool goes down. They find a second. Oh my gosh! Curse loses 4 members off the team. Now only a Baroned up Cop is alive versus 3 members of Vulcan.
Vulcan slamming that door shut. They take those Baron buffs right off the map as soon as they come up. Only Cop going to have his, and that's an exposed inhibitor in mid that's going to have to be defended against 3 people coming in for Vulcan.
So you've got to wonder, is the global gold from Baron worth the gold trading hands right there from the team fight? A 10,000 gold lead is still here for Vulcan. Bloodwater low on health. Cop could put some pressure down. Does not choose to, though. They just get the inhibitor and back on out. But now you realize that Vulcan are a team that don't have anything to really take off the map anymore. They have to get into the base.
And they don't have the Baron buff there, so that's going to be a small advantage for Curse because at least they still have it on 1 person. Cop's going to be wearing that, but they still have to look for the picks and have to have the numbers advantage because we've seen how strong Vulcan are in the coordinated team fights where they're all together and they can take advantage of this extremely farmed solo pushing Vladimir.
He does have a lot of massive items. Let's actually recap the Vlad build. We've seen basically the Spectral Wraith Spirit on him a lot throughout the weekend, but he's added an Abyssal Scepter and he's going towards a needlessly large rod item.
So it's a really efficient item, and it just happens, those are all the stats that Vladimir wants. He loves cooldown reduction. It's got AP on it and Spell Vamp. The only thing that's going to go to waste is that, you know, mana regen, which is negligible. That's not much gold efficiency wasted on adding that to the item.
Okay, so also Distortion Boots on him. He's definitely been hyper-mobile. I mean, you've mentioned his split push and how much he's running around, and we'll see if the split push game is still what Vulcan looks for. Because my question to you is, with a 9,000 gold lead, nothing on the map, do they keep the split put pressure game, or do they say, look, we can dive into your base?
They've shown that they can still lose this game, so the group from Vulcan would be stronger than Curse right now, but Psycho Stid, he's still in his solo shoving mode right now. He constantly just returning back to that bottom lane, and he wants to draw the pressure from Curse. So this is going to be up to Curse not to waste any time. Every second is crucial. Vladimir's constantly pushing, and they actually have a good numbers fight up here.
Here we go, Bloodwater getting caught out, has to flash away from St. Bishop, but Jackie is nearby. Let's see if this fight does start out. Vlad is still in the bottom lane. Right now, Curse are just trying to engage the fight. They find Zuna. That is the target they want. Zuna explodes in this battle. Smithy forced to run away. The box comes out, but Bloodwater has to run away, and that is, there we go, 1 for nothing picked up, but Sid is pushing the bottom lane. He actually pops his Ghost, and I'm not quite sure why that was, but he is putting out as much damage as he can. Rux taking a bit of punishment right there, gets a lot of pain. The Crescendo does not land on a mandatory cloud. He's going to go right back into this one, but he does not quite find Rux. Jackie finds the kill. No, it's actually Cop, so that is a 2 for nothing, but Sid has taken down the middle inhibitor. It has already fallen, and Smithy comes to join the rest of the team as they go down to the bottom inhibitor. This will be minions just flooding now into Curse's base, but it's a 5 versus 3.
So they've taken 2 lives, but the inhibitor does go down. Smithy gets caught as well.
This could be rough if the lantern is not available. Actually, of course it's not, because Bloodwater has to run away, and look at that pickup. Curse find 3 kills right there unanswered. Dragon comes up soon, and they've got minions to farm.
Rux is going to have to take some notes from Bloodwater here and land one of those crescendos. They need that to turn around this game. Their base has just been demolished. 2 inhibitors is huge. Not only will you have the super minions coming down mid, but also bottom, and they've just got that one outer turret with only 700 life left on it.
So that is going to be a pretty rough thing for them to deal with. Psycho Sid again. I mean, this feels so much like the prior game, right? One team has full map control. People are soloing Dragon without a care in the world because the map control is theirs, but you're seeing fight after fight after fight go the other way as the blue team basically claws its way back in, and Curse are looking like they got hope.
They do. They've got that shred of hope, and they will not let it go. They just have to continue to turtle in their base. Like I said, the next crescendo really could be the last.
So it will come down to that as the action grows. Zuna split pushing the top side, 3 completed items. Cop, 3 completed items. These 80 carries are similar. We have Psycho Sid now with the zonies. He's keeping himself alive, but he's not really been under that much pressure, to be fair. He's been split pushing, but is itemizing a bit of defense, whereas Voyboy is struggling to stay alive. I mean, last game, he had like 9 kills and was massive. Here, he's like barely scrapping items together.
Looks like Saint actually might get closed in on here. He's got Bloodwater on one side and Psycho Sid on the other.
And they're going to go in for this one. Here we go. They dive in. The flash comes. A beautiful flash from Zuna gets him out, though. But now, will we have the battle? A couple ults down could be enough, but Zuna without flash is a scary thing. Jack has everything available, so does Mandatory Cloud. Bloodwater, everything but flash. They're pushing in on the mid lane. The inhibitor.
The main combo for Curse is now down. They just used their Paranoia and Stand United just for the flash of Zuna, so that is actually a really good trade for Vulcan. Zuna's happy to trade off his flash for that one, and now they can just push in here. There's no need to split push anymore. It's going to be 5 members of Vulcan for once. Curse have not fought this.
Curse have not in quite some time. This turret, you mentioned it, it's very, very low, and Vulcan are starting to wave clear this one out. Minions are flooding into the Curse base right here, and that will pull Saint Vicious' attention towards the bottom side. The inhibitor in the mid lane has respawned, though. We'll see if Vulcan will respond to that, and if they will do anything in the top or in the mid lane. Minions are here. Shield comes off from Bloodwater. They get the hook onto Jackie. Jackie just explodes right there, but here comes a crescendo. Rux is under fire. They're going to dive into this one. Bloodpool comes out. Psycho Sid tries to find one. He does get one, but there is Saint Vicious. He's going to blow up as well. It's going to be 3 for nothing so far, and the base is now Vulcan's. This could be Vulcan taking the 3rd place game.
Decent crescendo right there, but it's too little, too late for Curse. Vulcan just destroy the rest of the base, and they work on the Nexus turrets.
It's just Cop and Voyboy left alive. Here we go. They're pushing in. Cop under pressure just gets destroyed right there, and it's a 5 versus 1. This will be the match. Vulcan, the 3rd place team in North America. Congratulations to them. They've taken it home.
And Curse 4th place once again.
There you have it. They stand up and they're just like, man, they came back from so much. A slaughter in game 1. Game 2, so... And there's the yellow.
Yeah, you can hear the chant. I like that pause. They're getting a little more coordinated in their celebration now. They're actually used to winning all of these best of 3s. And that really just played out according to their plans. We always talk about how Bloodwater is so confident in his plans late game, and he lays them out so well. It really all just came together there.
It did, and despite how scary that mid game looked, right? They had thrown a couple of advantages in a row towards Curse, couple fights, and to regroup themselves. Right, like, and again, we talked to Mega Zero about it, and he said, you know, what happens when you throw an advantage in the middle of the game and you start slipping. What do you think to yourself? What do you say to the team? And you just recollect and say, okay, look, here's what we need. We still have the lead. We can still close it out. And that's what Vulcan did here. Early game was theirs, looked good, couple false steps, and they said, okay, guys, just group, top lane, and let's go.
Yeah, there was that opening when we had a split push Vlad with no teleport once again, and Vulcan actually chose that fight. They engaged on Curse, giving Curse a couple kills here and there. But after Vlad was done with the bottom inhibitor, he finally stopped split pushing that bottom, and once there's 5 members, there was no chance for Curse.
All right, so I do want to get back into that game, though, and check out a replay of one of those winning fights, because this game was pretty awesome.
This was a very awesome game. So this is going to be the last one here. And this is the hook from Bloodwater, just starting it off. You burned down Jackie. He literally didn't get anything off in that fight. You saw Rux finally landing a good crescendo even onto the back line there, but game over flashes over the screen, and that's going to be it for Curse. They lost out 2 members way too quickly there without getting anything back for it.
So a great charm picked up. That you called that. Jackie not getting to do anything. The late game power, when it doesn't hit a single spell, not much of a late game power anymore. So again, well played to Vulcan. Now up next, Xmithy and Psycho Sid from 3rd place. Vulcan will join us to talk about their huge wins today. Plus, Jat will break down the key plays that led to their victory. The North American LCS playoffs will be right back.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm joined here with Psycho Sid and Xmithy. Guys, congratulations first of all on your best of 3. Coming into the matchup, did you expect to get 3rd here? To get the win, I should say, sorry.
Definitely, right? Yeah, it was, actually no. It was, not, I don't want to sound overconfident. I mean, like, of course, we didn't think we were going to, like, straight up lose. We knew it was going to be a hard series, and, yeah, it was brought to 3 games.
So walk me through the first game then. You guys ran the strat you did in week 10 with all the role swaps, right? Sort of why are you bringing that kind of stuff out?
Well, I personally think it's a legitimate strat. Like, even some teams like IG may like switch their roster around, just switch positions. even though some people were against it, I won't say any names. Like some refer to it as trolling.
Sure.
But like, I mean, for me, I think the fact that we were already guaranteed a spot in the next split, like, it doesn't hurt to try something out again in like a high level or competitive area. Like for example, against CRS, they're a really good team, and it didn't work out that game, but we made it up.
So then what made you sort of change your strategy then in game 2 and 3? You went more sort of conventional.
We weren't as comfortable with what we played in game 1. Like of course we were just trying to practice it, but like we had to like bring our A game in the next 2 games with the conventional comps.
So then walk me through that game 2, because that was really harsh for you guys for a while, and you held on and came back. What do you do when you're behind that far?
You just stay safe. Try to get farm on the AD carry, and try to save the towers like really early. And it's pretty much just we had a better late game than them because they had Renekton, we had Nasus, and it worked pretty well.
So then in game 3 you had a similar sort of late game sort of composition, and at the very beginning I was kind of wondering if you knew the strategy was coming, the Shen Nocturne, because it worked really well against GGU in their prior semifinal. Were you worried about that composition?
Yeah, we thought that they would have picked Evelynn, because it's really, really sneaky, because they can just Nocturne ult you, and Shen will ult either into Evelynn or Shen. And it's pretty trying to kill the AD carry, but I'm surprised they didn't do that.
Yeah, like, so we expected those 2 picks if we did leave like both of them up. So that, in response, we did the Vlad pick with like Ghost and Flash. So it's like almost impossible for Nocturne to even kill him with Shen. Like I saw in the first Nocturne ulti, I just like Ghost Flash and just pulled away. And in response, like if they were to use their globals elsewhere, I'd just be able to split push all day, which I did.
So that seems really tenacious of you to run this like no teleport split pusher and say, yeah, you're Shen, you can leave, but I'll just kill turrets. Like, how hard is it to play a team where you're like, we will 4v5 every team fight?
Well, I'm used to getting carried. What I do in my lane is I just all I can provide is communication and just pressure. Like I'd be like, oh, Shen's missing. Like the moment he disappears from the map, like he can ulti. And do you have anything to add?
Well, we always, I usually don't go top lane, mostly just because to farm and to save the turret. And Benny's usually the type that he can just like split push a lane, like Teemo, like he can just push the lane over and over and make the pressure go to him. And so that we're gonna have either pressure at Baron or their buffs or anything.
Okay, so final question for you guys. You got 3rd place. You're the #3 team in North America, $15,000. We've got another bunch of weeks of action in the summer split in just about a month. Are you guys going to keep that top 3 throwing position? You're going to go up? You're going to go down? What's in the future for you guys?
Going for top 1.
We're going up, yeah.
Going up? What's it going to do to bring it to 1? What's it going to take?
Keep doing what we're doing. Just try to refine our practice regimen and preparation for other teams. Like in these past few weeks, our preparation's been a lot better. Where we have a whiteboard that we bought like a lot of weeks ago, but haven't like really whipped out until like last week, where we just started writing down like what we should do for this team, what should we do for that team, what we will pick if this team picks this way, and like what our strategy would be for that game.
Cool. Well, of course, congratulations on your top 3 finish here. Great job by you guys, and we hope to see you guys just excel in the summer split here and have fun watching the rest of the playoffs. So, you've heard from Vulcan. It's time now to hear from Jat, who wants to break down some of the plays from that amazing 3rd place match.
Thank you very much, Freak. And the first clip that I have picked out here is Zuna's amazing juke on St. Vicious and Voyboy. And let's actually just roll this clip right now so we can see what's happening. Zuna's getting hit in the tower, and if we pause it here, we get to see Zuna's decision. So what's just happened is there is a Voyboy that's going to be coming in right on top of St. Vicious. The only thing that Voyboy wants to do, since Zuna has already burned his cleanse, is get the taunt on Zuna so they can finish him off. But Zuna has other plans. We're going to watch this really. So what he's going to do is he's going to take his Blade of the Ruined King, use the active, and juke right at the last second as Voyboy tries to taunt. If we roll the rest of this at full speed, we'll get to see they have to back off because of the tower and the support coming from the rest of Vulcan. They finish off Voyboy. St. Vicious has to flash over wall. Doesn't even die to the Caitlyn, and they're able to take the Dragon. That was one of the best jukes I have personally seen by Zuna, and they went on to win Game 3. But none of that would have been possible if it wasn't for this amazing Game 2 comeback that Vulcan mounted. So to set up the stage here, they are 8,800 gold behind, down 7 turrets to 6. everyone on Curse is just sieging outside their base. And I have to keep in mind here, what Cop has just done is he has already burned his rapid-fire attack speed boost for the fight that might be coming up here. He's trying to get as much damage on the turret as possible. Let's actually roll this clip right now to see how it progresses. Vulcan's flash initiates Psycho Sid because he knows the attack speed boost is down. And if we pause it here, what we get to see is this entire game, the reason Curse got this lead is because Voyboy on Renekton, and right now, Saint Vicious on Jarvan, who's way in here, have been dive buddying the entire game. They always go in together, and they're able to wreak havoc if they make it there. But what's happening here is Bloodwater's crescendo cuts across everyone on Curse, and they cannot go in together. So let's roll this fight at half speed to see how everything goes wrong. Saint Vicious dives in, but there's no follow-up. Voyboy's trapped outside of the Cataclysm. He can't make it in. He can't use that 1,000 damage ultimate. And pause it right here. Another thing that happened for Curse. Nijaki just came in at the top of the fight. He teleported in because he was trying to split push. And another thing that comboed with their dive buddies is the Orianna Ball using a shockwave on top of Saint Vicious. But because Saint Vicious went in early while everyone was hit on the crescendo, the initiation was delayed. Vulcan recognized this, and that's why they were beating down Saint Vicious as quickly as possible. You can see his health bar is about at a third here. Saint Vicious doesn't want to die, but Nijaki wants to use the ultimate on him. And you can tell that when Saint Vicious was in here, he thought Jackie was directly behind him and that he was going to get the shockwave combo. But if we keep rolling this fight slow, we'll see how the sync just isn't quite there. As the command protect goes on Saint Vicious, he flashes out, and the shockwave hits nothing. If we roll the rest of the fight at full speed, you'll see Curse had already lost. Nothing really comboed well for them. Vulcan turtled just right. No one went out of position for Vulcan. They cleaned up 2 kills here, and they took out the Baron. That was the start of a remarkable comeback for Vulcan. They were the first team, actually, in the whole playoffs to lose the first game in a series and still come back to win. And that's why they're 3rd place in the LCS. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Jat. And while the 4 teams playing today have already guaranteed themselves a spot in the North American Summer Split, there are still 4 more spots up for grabs at the Summer Promotion Tournament. Complexity, Marn, Dignitas, and Counterlogic Gaming will be battling the top challenger teams in North America, who are all gunning for their spots in the LCS. And the members of CLG and Dignitas know that their careers are on the line.
Sure, I could make all these statements about how we're the better team, our stats are better, or like historically we've always done well against GGU, like stuff like that. But in the end, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we lost today.
We deserve to lose to Vulcan. We played terribly.
Man, I don't know what happened. I'm really just at a loss for words.
First game, we played bad. GGU played excellently. Their second game was awful.
And the third game was just, we fought the team fights wrong after we were ahead.
Vulcan's a good team, and I said I respect them before, and I still do respect them, but we're just better. And I know we're better, and we can do better, but at this point, we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over, and something has to change.
It's probably the worst feeling I've had all year. The guys are like so mad. Maybe not even mad, it's like very, very like sad.
We're just super disappointed in our performance at LCS, and so we took all these extreme measures. The day before our match against Vulcan, we just snapped. Like all of us were just like, no, our strategy sucks, we have to rewrite everything. But I think it was really dumb to just switch at the very, like literally last night, we changed everything.
We beat everyone's standard. We play standard in scrims, and we're not used to playing special in LCS. And every time we play special in LCS, it just leads to a loss.
I think we're a better team than we showed today, but obviously results matter. And so today we didn't come out on top, and it sucks.
Now we play against an amateur team, and we have a best of 5 against them, in which the winner gets a spot into the next split of the LCS, and obviously we want to win that.
Yeah, promotion's a scary thing. We were recently scrimming against Azurcats, which is Gigi's team, a former teammate, and they play really well. It's honestly, they're even better than Vulcan. And so we just put ourselves from a hot seat to like a seat that's like made out of fire.
I'm pretty scared of losing promotion relegation. That'd be the worst thing that could possibly happen.
It would be definitely very different LCS without Dignitas.
If we lose this, the team will not continue. I guarantee you. I have more to lose than anyone else because CLG is my baby. The way things have gone, I'll be left with nothing.
So there you go, guys. A very serious situation on the line for these teams. playing professionals for most of their adult lives now and kind of up against it. So you can watch CLG and Dignitas and the rest of these teams fight for their spots in the next split, along with Complexity and Marn in the Summer Promotion Tournament. We'll be broadcasting it live in 2 weeks from May 10th through the 12th. Now, it's also time for us to check in with you guys because, well, the Spring Championship Finals are coming. But before we break that down, the matchup we'd like to, before we break down the matchup, again, we want to hear what you guys have asked. So we asked, who do you think will be the Spring Playoff Championship MVP and why? And here's what you had to say. Reginald, with his precise calls and leadership, he will bring his team to victory, becoming the North American LCS champions.
Gotta call out somebody from TSM. They are the #1 seed going into this, and they have very high hopes.
They do indeed. So Zion Spartan is the next MVP. For sure, his amazing engages will win GGU the playoffs.
Such a strong solo laner. We've seen him do it with Jace. He's just got so many options. I agree with that one as well. It really comes down to this last championship game.
It does indeed. So the next one up is, I think Wild Turtle will be MVP. His playstyle and mechanics are yet to be matched.
I mean, Reggie's sort of the leader of that team, but Wild Turtle's the one that really caused this whole turnaround for them.
And they've had a 12-2 last half of the season. It certainly has been a big point. But who else to turn around a team than Daydreamin'? Because he just makes so many great plays. After his first LCS match, I knew something about him would be special.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same argument as you have for Wild Turtle. Both those guys, all-stars coming in.
So a lot of great players here, and I think you could almost nominate any single person on those teams. So guys, please keep hitting us up with your answers. We're at LOL Esports. Remember, use the hashtag LCS. So we've got one more match left up today in North America. It's a best-of-5, and let's take a look at the bracket to see what it's going to be. You saw Vulcan took out Curse 2-1 to grab 3rd place, but up next,
it's going to be Team Solo Mid and Good Game University facing off in an epic best-of-5 series for the Spring Split Championship.
It's a hard one.
And $50,000.
That was not as hard. That's actually pretty important. So guys, TSM and GGU are setting up at their stations. We're just moments away from the first ever North American LCS Championship Finals. 2 teams, 1 title, $50,000. Championship Sunday continues after this short break.